so many years ago, I got into this. I forgot how I discovered them, but I started looking into Korean original transforming robots, and I pursued the what I like to think of as the golden year of Tobot for about a year, and then I couldn't keep up. And boy, howdy, is it tough buying Korean toys. You've kept up. You keep going at them. Those Korean toys are hard to get, aren't they?
They are very hard to get, and they are very expensive. And I love them, but at the same point, once I've done the review and they've sat on the shelf for a little bit, it's like, okay, another wave of Transformers is coming in. These figures take up an entire shelf, time to put them in storage.
That's the other half of why I kind of stepped back. It was like one part, like, even if there's such interesting curios, and they are so expensive to get from Korea, specifically because the packaging is always gigantic. And,
yes, the packaging is gigantic. The figures themselves are gigantic.
Yeah.
So especially oh boy, like I've gotten so many over the years, I could never remember the exact names of them. Not the most recent batch, but the batch that was like the deer, the eagle, and the elephant.
Oh, the
Biclones. Those suckers are absolutely enormous. They are the same width as Omega Supreme.
Yeah, I got the two who diagonal connect because I thought that was really cool. And then I spent like 2 years going like, I'm going to get those other three because I keep hearing they're so great. And then I keep looking at the ones I've got and I just keep shrinking away because it's like, even if you think that they do a cool thing, it's like, this would be so fun to mess with. It totally is. But there's so much baggage that comes with that.
There is. And so if you get like a 70 quart storage bucket from, say, Target or Toys R Us, a fine Canadian brand, then you're going to take that entire line, the most recent Tobot V line, all of the figures from that line that I have reviewed fill up a bucket.
Yeah.
A 70 quart bucket.
And that's like 1 year, maybe 1.5 years, I think.
Not even. That's, that was, I want to say that was like 10 months. Worth of figures.
And this is leaving out, like, there are so many fascinating things. Like, there's also Hello Carbot. There was one of the original Hello Carbot combiners, Pentastorm, who I still to this day would love to get a hold of Pentastorm. But, like, I've seen the packaging, I've seen the photos, I've watched unboxing videos to try to get scale, and it's like, Pentastorm is a combiner made of those kind of robots who's packaged in splayed out combined mode in the box.
This guy. Yes, I have actually seen this thing in person. It is just fully combined. It is maybe about 1 to 2 heads shorter than Titan's Return. I'm sorry, Power of the Prime's Predaking.
Oh, man.
And the box itself is like it's, I want to say 6 inches deep and about 18 inches lengthwise. It's not tiny. It's big.
It's like you could put a ukulele into it. Like, it looks like a musical instrument.
I mean, you could fold up some smaller Transformers fans and just put them in there.
Yeah. You could, or, entire children could probably fit in there. Yeah. This was the one where I was finally able to, like, overcome the psychological FOMO and, like, go, like, I just need to, when the opportunity arises, and I feel like buying myself a nice thing, maybe. But it was Mini Force when they had the full-on, like, alt mode robot and combination thing with ratchet joints. And also they're like, whatever, $100 a piece. And I was like, I can't. I know how big I can't. But it is really cool stuff.
So I have the first one and Penta X. I got both of them from Surtoys, Surtoys.com, and I got them at what at the time was a steal before the prices went up. Yeah. And the first set is not nearly as good as the second set. So Penta X is the one you want to get. That is more of a traditional Super Sentai or more of a original G1 chunk to the combined mode. The first one is just oddly proportioned. It's very wide in the chest and very thin in the rest of the figure, and is very top-heavy and has a tendency to fall over.
Yeah, it makes me think of the coverage I saw of, like, the first-year Tobots.
Awful. One of the worst toys I have ever played with.
Like the very first two that were all ball jointed up. I remember some folks were in the TFW thread, and I think someone told me on Twitter, they were like, they look neat, but like it's better that they move to all these ratchet joints.
Yes. Yes. Oh God, yes.
Yeah. Because Tobot made it out of Korea, not to North America, sadly, but to a couple other territories. Some of what I just call it the golden year of Tobot, but like, you know, the what is it, Adventure Z and
yes.
Who was it? The triple combiner with the camper van thing.
Deltatron. I don't remember what
Deltatron.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know that Tobot is available on Netflix now, right?
I was on Netflix now?
Yes, it is. So Netflix has been getting all these Korean-based shows, and that's where one of the places that it's been growing its children's show catalog. So they've got Super Wings, Mini Force, a bunch of other Korean animated shows. And Tobot recently showed up. It was weird, though, when I watched it, because the resolution was not even 480p. It was like 360p, but they've fixed that since then.
Man, because they did an English dub when they got into some of the other territories. Because I remember seeing some of it on YouTube.
Yep, it's the English dub.
Oh, because I hope they can get the toys over here. Because I know from a friend that a couple years ago, Young Toys was at New York Toy Fair trying to get Tobots to get picked up.
I had always heard that they were going to be too expensive for Walmart.
Yeah.
Because they were the main thing they were trying to sell to Walmart, and Walmart's like, no, you got to bring the price down. You got to bring the price down.
Yeah. And I mean, I only have one of them, but like the mini Tobots are still pretty fun. Like they're not very posable, but they have that Young Toys click factor.
Yes, that I don't want to say click. It's more like a chunk.
Yeah,
that is just chef's kiss.
It's ratchet joints and C clips aplenty. I would tell anyone who likes Transformers, Adventure Z and Deltatron to me were just marvelous. Also the snowboarder one, the snowboarder delivery courier truck one, whose name I forgot.
I don't remember that one. I don't know which one that is.
That's the last Tobot I got before I had to call it. And I can't remember his name now. I got to look it up sometime later. He was like a courier truck, and he had like a red delivery container on the roof. And he transformed. His robot mode was themed after a snowboarder, and he could ride that thing like a snowboard. and he had like the Adventure Z, like just like that pinnacle Tobot articulation layout where it's like he's got way more joints than you'd think. None of them are like full range, but they're all just enough range.
Right. And just enough range to be absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, and just so big. I was noticing in because also I remember from back when Tobot was really picking up in Carbot, they were also in Korea toppling Power Rangers as far as like toy sales. And I was noticing Takara Tomi's new Tomica thing, was it Kizuna Gatai Granner, Gao Earth Granner, and etc. Mm-hmm. Those things remind me a lot of Tobot. Those are on HLJ if anyone wants to go take a look. But it's like Tomica's, rescue type stuff with like this super, really hard to ignore Tobot-ish aesthetic.
And those are the ones that are like, they're two vehicles that combine into one robot. And then they have like tons of articulation.
They are stepping they're just jumping up and down on the toes of Super Sentai in a really loud way.
I really like the KRBRickBot bots that have come out this year. I'm looking at them right now in my display case. But in 2020, I'm looking at them going, man, like all these other toys like Tobot and those Tomica ones, they're stepping their game up, and these Super Sentai ones just aren't. This is a typical issue with Bandai, and I feel like Bandai and Hasbro are kind of going down the same road here, and they're trying to cater to nostalgia and nothing but nostalgia. Mm-hmm. So Super Sentai has been the same for 30 plus years, 40 years in terms of toy design. It's always been big, chunky, very little articulation, and interesting transformations. And Hasbro's running into the same problem with not only Power Rangers, but Transformers, where they just recycle the same thing over and over and over and over again, trying to play that to that nostalgia card. And arguably, the last 3 Star Wars movies did the same thing. It's like, hey, we're hitting that nostalgia hammer real hard. You remember these characters, you love them. we got new characters and they're doing the same thing.
Yeah, so it's such a shame because there's a freshness that can exist there.
And there was fun stuff done there and freshness, as you were saying. And then they kind of fell back on their laurels for several years. And then I feel like last year's Ryu Soldier was a fresh take.
Every now and then, like people can get it in there. Like even in Transformers, when aesthetically they get bound into pushing nostalgia, it's like that's why I always end up liking Transformers so much toy-wise, is even when aesthetically it gets a bit flat, they're always pushing little things in the toy design.